Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How is everyone doing? I know Shaykh Abdullah is going to watch this after I'm done this introduction. He's going to critique me for being awkward. But come on, give me some reassurance that I'm not being awkward and I'm engaging. Shaykh Abdullah is not starting off today, and I don't think he's coming on today. And ironically, the day where everyone's praising him, he's not on. This year, Shaykh Abdullah is just too sweet, mashallah, tabarakallah. Mufti Abdul Rahman used to be my favorite. Now it's Shaykh Abdullah. He's too sweet, too nice, mashallah. I don't know what you guys are thinking. That's messed up, mashallah. Where else? Sister Khadija, I'm loving the final moments. We have Lamhat withdrawal. Mashallah, may Allah bless all of you for being so kind with your words. We know he loves hearing it, so we gotta say it. We miss you, Sheikh. We're gonna miss you, Sheikh Abdullah. It's like you guys live with him, man. It's like you guys live with us now. You guys know exactly what our tendencies are and what makes us laugh and what makes us, cry and what gets us going. So, mashallah, may Allah bless you. This little virtual Miftah family we have going over here. Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam, wa alaikum salam. So I'm so upset Ramadan is almost over. It's true. Please don't stop doing Miftah online. You three bros, inshallah, we'll try. It's not easy, but we have a lot of programming that happens after Ramadan. Stay tuned to it. Just share with your family and friends. I'm acting like Sheikh Abdullah. Share with your family and friends so they all can benefit and they can enjoy the way you're enjoying. Don't be selfish. Share with them so they can also benefit. Um, Sheikh Abdullah, you driving, Mujan?
Yeah, just got my hand on the steering wheel. Just Allah, alhamdulillah, the angel is driving this car, brother.
Mujan, Mujan.
Yes, sir.
Why? You're sitting in a fancy car. It's a red seatbelt.
Red seats.
Don't pay attention to what I'm driving. Don't pay attention to.
Yo, Mujan,
Let me keep my head.
Take your AirPods off. They make too much noise. Let me do. Bajan, you there? Now we can just hear the car.
Bajan, just join when you reach.
My brother has this he also has these lamhat withdrawals. He just want to miss out. It's crazy FOMO, but I've never seen FOMO like this in my life. Relax, take a day off. No one's gonna miss you. Nobody was asking about you. I'm telling you, nobody was, except for. But yeah, nobody really was. All right, Bajan, so you can. I'm taking you off.
He's gonna figure out how to get back on.
He's gonna figure he's gonna figure out
one way or the other.
Oh man.
You guys are the mahat, mashallah, it's all over. I was in Texas and everyone's like,
Sister Khadija, I love the behind the scenes series. Please continue. That's a tough one. That's a very tough one. May Allah bless you for bringing that up. We were doing that weekly on a Wednesday. And it was a very nice series. I loved sitting with my brother. It was good. It kept me going after Ramadan. And then, while we were doing it, the next week after we did, I think Sabbih Hasbuna Rabbikal A'la was the last one we did, or Wadduha, maybe Wadduha. And my brother Abdul Rahman passed away a few days after that, so we never mustered the courage to get back together online and speak. I actually thought I was never gonna talk and stuff again. My brother pushed me to do the next Ramadan, and alhamdulillah, it's been going good. So it's gonna be tough, but we'll try. Don't talk. No, he's not driving, man. Sister Asya, you know him by now. What does he love the most? He loves his in-laws the most. He loves his wife. He loves being praised. He loves to be served. Okay, so what he's being served right now.
Being driven around.
You think he's driving himself? No way.
Oh, man. Stop, man.
But it's okay. Take the day off.
Why aren't you speaking?
I can speak. I want to hear you guys. And when you guys make a mistake, I have to correct you. I'll correct you. I trust you guys.
All right, cool. You're not driving though, are you?
I kept my eyes on the road, my hands on the steering wheel.
He's not driving, man. He's not driving.
Just
No way
answer
in
the
the world
question,
he's
bro.
driving.
Do you think I would drive and do this?
Yeah,
You think-
possibly.
you think- I am crazy, but this is not me. Safety first. I have family. I got a wife that I love. I got children I gotta love. I can't
Your
I can't
in-laws,
risk.
your in-laws.
Don't talk about my in-laws. I get emotional.
All right, we'll keep you on.
But Musa, why don't you wait? What are you? Why are you doing that weird stuff for? Just stop
No.
trying to play
All right,
with
so it's the 25th juz. May Allah bless all of you that are on 25th juz today, and we have surah. We have at the end of we have Hamim Sajda that finishes. Then we have Surah Shura, and then it goes. It's a beautiful juz. You know, it's a Hamims in here. We have Surah Zukhruf, and then it goes to Surah Dukhan, and then it goes to Surah Jathiyah. All right. So I want to speak about. Because we read this juz yesterday in our Taraweeh, and there, Mufti Wahab, if you can open the Quran to verse number in Surah Shura, we'll start with verse number 36. Okay, so open over there. And I'm going to just take the people, just speak a few things about these verses because we have to leave early today. And it's a very important concept that I feel like we never spoke about this whole month, and we can discuss that today. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he speaks about the Ansar of Medina and their qualities, right? So he says, who are these people? What was their qualities even before that made them so successful? So I love it when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, when great people praise, like when NBA legends, they speak about Michael Jordan, it's different than like the layman speaking about Michael Jordan. There's a different vibe to it. There's a different reverence to it. You see what I'm saying, Bajan? I call you Bajan. You see what I'm saying? Like,
it's
so
different, man. It's a great speaking about the greats.
the greats speaking about the greats. You know, when the greats, like, oh, you know, when I used to defend him, I used to be scared. Like, oh wow, like even this guy who's saying that, who was a player against him, he's praising him. That means that tells you how great he is. So we know the greatest people to ever walk on the face of the earth of the Prophet ﷺ were the Sahaba. And so we speak about them in our own way, in our own manners. But then Allah also sometimes, from time to time in the Quran, He just highlights certain qualities of theirs. And those are qualities that are like that He believes that are important for us. He deems them to important that we read them. So He praises them through those qualities. In other words, He's saying, develop these qualities so I can praise you in Akhirah as well. You see what I'm saying? So here it goes. He says, who are these people? This is before the Prophet migrated to Medina. These were qualities that the Sahaba and Ansar, they had these in Medina. وَالَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ كَبَائِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَالْفَوَاحِشَ وَإِذَا مَا غَضِبُوا هُمْ يَغْفِرُونَ. These were people that stay away from major sins, كَبَائِرَ الْإِثْمِ, and immodest acts. What is major sins? I mean, I have this beautiful statement of Sufyan Thawri about sins, and it's going to give you all a hope, inshallah. And this statement is, I love this statement of his. He says, "Kullu ma'asiyatin." He said sins are done because of two reasons: shahwa, desire, and kibr, and arrogance. So he says, "Kullu ma'asiyatin an shahwatin fa inna yurja ghufranuha." He says any sin that's done through like desire, it could be hoped that it will be forgiven. Then he says, وَكُلُّ مَعْصِيَةٍ عَنْ الْكِبْرِ فَإِنَّهُ لَا يُرْجَى غُفْرَانُهَا. And any sin that's done through arrogance, like, oh, you're a rebel, you're against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're being rebellious. No, I'm going to do this. I don't think it's a sin. He says any sin that's done, but then stop shaking your head that much, but it's okay. Any sin that's done with that intent, then there's no hope for forgiveness. Why? لأن معصية إبليس كان أصله من الكبر. Because the sin of Iblis, where did it originate from? It originated from arrogance. And the mistake of Adam alayhi salam, where did it originate from? Just a little desire. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave Adam alayhi salam, but he never forgave Iblis. So that's one thing. The other thing about this is, in reality, there is no such thing as major and minor sins, right? It comes. This is marfu to the Prophet ﷺ, but it's most likely a statement of a Sahabi, like لا صغيرة مع الإصرار ولا كبيرة مع الاستغفار. There's no such thing as a small sin when you do it over and over and over again. So we staying away from sins, like unapologetically repeating them over and over again. Okay, even if you repeat them, apologetically doing it, doing it with regret, this is the quality that's mentioned over here. Because لا صغيرة مع الإصرار ولا كبيرة مع الاستغفار. And there's no such thing that's a major sin in which that you do istighfar after. The fact that you had the ability to do istighfar after committing a sin, it's a sign that that sin wasn't big. Allah gave you tawfiq to do tawbah. Otherwise, if it was a major crime, then Allah would have snatched tawbah from your hands and from your heart. So, la saghirata ma'al israr, wa la kabirata ma'al istighfar. But it is true, man taraka dhunub raqa qalbuhu. If you feel like you're not getting affected by the Quran, moments of the Quran, Shaykh Abdullah's words, Mufti Abdul Rahman's presence, in Ramadan, if you feel that way, then know that there must be a sin that you're committing. Because of that, your heart is not soft. Because our Salaf al-Salihin say that I can 100% confidently say, every time I was deprived of a good deed, it was because of a sin I committed. One of the Salaf, he says, I was deprived of praying tahajjud for 5 months because of a sin I committed. What was the sin he committed? He said he saw a person crying in the masjid, and he said, I thought in my heart, innahu la mura'in. He's showing off. I didn't even say it to anybody. Just the thought came to my mind, Allah deprived me of tahajjud. So these people were people who were very careful. They did not want this ni'mah of Allah of obedience, this ni'mah of Allah of being in a good environment. They didn't want it to be snatched from them. So they stayed away from these immodest. First quality is that. The second quality, وَإِذَا مَا غَضِبْهُمْ يَغْفِرُونَ. When they used to get angry, they used to forgive. I'm not going to talk about forgiveness today, Mufti Abdul, but you're a genius with this. There's three levels of forgiveness. There's afu, safh, and ghafar, right? So safh means, there's af means to just pardon somebody. And then that's the first level, right? The second level is safh. It's like, it's pardoning and also, it's pardoning, but also forgetting about it, not mentioning it again, not making the other person feel every time you see him, I forgave you. So af was just forgiveness. And safh is like, don't even mention it. You never even thought about it again. You forgave the man and the person in a way where it never came up again. Then there's the third level of it, which is ghafara, right? Ghufran, inna Allah ghafur rahim. Ghafara means linguistically, it means to cover up something. So you just completely cover it up. You forgive it in a way where it's completely, the other person sometimes doesn't even know that you were even offended by that. That's how much you covered it up. Right? And Allah mentions all these three elements in one verse in the Quran, in Surah Jathiyah. Just at the end of, he mentions all three of them, subhanAllah. It's like the way Allah speaks about these things is وَإِن تَعْفُوا, in Surah Taghabun, he says, وَإِن تَعْفُوا وَتَصْفَحُوا وَتَغْفِرُوا. So all three are mentioned in one place. إِن تَعْفُوا وَتَصْفَحُوا وَتَغْفِرُوا فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Let's be people of Ghufran. Anyways, that's the word that's used over here in Surah Shura. Not وَإِذَا مَا غَضِبُوا هُمْ يَصْفَحُونَ وَإِذَا مَا غَضِبُوا هُمْ يَعْفُونَ. It's وَإِذَا مَا غَضِبُوا هُمْ يَغْفِرُونَ. They have the quality of ghafar. Then this is the one, Mufti Abdul Wahab, that I want to end with and spend most of my time with. وَالَّذِينَ اسْتَجَابُوا لِرَبِّهِمْ. These are people that respond to Allah's call. All right. Let me ask you something, Mufti Abdul Wahab Sahab. I know how annoying people, my Bajan doesn't like this. When someone calls you all the time and you don't pick up his calls, it's very annoying. You see what I'm saying? You develop this like, man, he never picked. I remember a few years ago, and I'm this is my bad habit. Mufti, you have it too.
No, but you have you're an expert at it.
Bajan doesn't have it.
Shabbat does a good job with it, mashallah.
Yeah. This man how busy.
Mufti Sahib has a brother-in-law. There was once, this is years ago, there was a video.
How could you mention my brother-in-law in such a sacred environment? Like,
that's
his
true. That's a
name
good
should not
point.
be mentioned in these sacred gatherings.
He's Ramadan. He's working hard. Hopefully he's fasting. But no, he is, of course.
One time I was praying Taraweeh, 11:30, 12 o'clock. My phone kept on ringing in my pocket. And I was in my salah. I'm like, bro, whoever's calling me right now has to be like Shaitan's brother, bro. Like, how are you calling me? How are you calling me during Taraweeh like 7-8 times? You don't know it's Taraweeh time. So I'm like, I had that assumption. Then I also had the good assumption that maybe he's a part of another time zone. He doesn't realize, right?
Different country.
So then I get in the car. I'm driving. I'm like, who's calling me? I take my phone out, and it's this brother-in-law of mine that was calling me, and he's from the same time zone. So I call him like, bro, don't you know it's Taraweeh time, man? He's like, man, I completely forgot there's Taraweeh. I'm like, oh my God.
It's like 10 days into Ramadan. But
it was like 20 days in Ramadan. Go ahead.
Vijay, was it something?
No, you guys are not funny, honestly.
We're not trying to be funny. We're trying to
We're
comply.
not-
But
No,
guys-
we always
you guys
talk
are-
about your in-laws. Don't talk about his in-laws too.
I'm,
No,
but then I'm,
Mufti-
I'm,
Mufti
I'm
Sahab.
muting you. Mute bank. Go ahead, Bilal.
So this guy, what this guy does, there's a video on Facebook, and it says that if you were to call someone, and if it was said that if he doesn't pick up, something's bad gonna happen to you. Someone's gonna shoot
You only
you.
have one chance. You only have one chance.
One chance.
And there's a gun to your head, and they said you better make this phone call. If the guy picks up, you're done. Who would you call?
And he chose his dear brother-in-law, Mufti Abdul
Not only
Rahman.
no, that's not true. Not only him, he sent me screenshots of like almost everyone that knew me put my name in the comments. Okay, so
That's
this,
والذين
That's not a good quality when someone calls you. Is it right? You know that someone says Assalamu alaikum, it's your right that you respond back to them once in a while.
Ajin, that's what I'm getting to.
Okay. But you're the wrong person to preach this.
This is
I
getting
want to be
personal.
better myself. And
No,
that's why it hits home better for me. Because the thing is, when you don't pick up, I even my friends, people that love me, they get offended. Like, why don't you pick up your call? So imagine, and then how much do you love the person who always picks up the calls? He's always there for you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, these are people that are always picking up my call, like figuratively. Like, this is a metaphoric way of saying, Sahaba, whenever I call them, they're always picking up my call, right? That's it. And Allah says in the dua, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِي إِذَا I will respond to you, but I also have a request for you. فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي. Remember me next time as well, and answer my call. That's what istijaba means, like answering Allah's calls. So answering Allah's call is not in the form of a phone. It's whatever actions, behaviors, characters that Allah wants. Answer the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
استجيبوا لله وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا استجيبوا لله وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم. Oh believers, respond to the call of Allah. Why? Because you're going to benefit. It's going to give you life in dunya. It's going to give you life in akhirah. It's going to inject life into your family, into your affairs. It's going to give you life, right? So this idea of like responding, the Sahaba were people. Later in Surah Shura, Allah also says,
Let Mufti Abdul Rahman speak to. Poor guy hasn't said a word.
No. Wallah, I just found out I'm coming on a few minutes ago, so I was just here just to have two people on the screen.
no,
Wallahi,
you have to say, everyone wants to say something.
I've been listening to Mufti Abdul Wahab recently with Shaykh Masmari. Wallahi, Allah is giving you some wisdom. I don't know where you get this knowledge from. I think you opened the Bible this Ramadan because you've been saying some new stuff that I never heard.
I've been listening to you guys most of the Quran. That's why.
MashaAllah.
No, but beautiful. You guys, mashallah, been killing it. Alhamdulillah. But Bijan, the first quality was يَجْتَنِبُونَ كَبَائِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَالْفَوَاحِشِ. And the second quality was an indication that believers do get angry.
Yep.
Right? So it's okay to once in a while get angry. The statement of, if I recall correctly, Ali radiallahu anhu says, only a donkey doesn't get angry. Like,
Yep.
even believers at times, they get angry. But they're extremely quick. That Bijan,
من لم يغضب فهو حمار.
whoever doesn't become angry is like a donkey. But hopefully, so getting angry is a part of it, but also being able to get rid of that anger really quick. What's the whole process of, there's three types of people: one who gets angry very fast but forgives very fast, another person who gets angry very slow but forgives very slow, another person who gets angry very quick but forgives very slow. So the best person is the one that gets angry. It takes a long time to get them angry, but to forgive very quickly, right? So they get upset once in a while. Rarely you can see them get upset.
Out of all the brothers, who gets the angry that least, and then his anger leaves early too?
Who gets angry?
The least, and when they get angry, the anger leaves the fastest.
Abdul Rahman rahimahullah was, of course, he was the one.
Abdul Rahman rahmatullah alayhi. After Abdul Rahman rahmatullah alayhi, then
Mufti Abdul Rahman, mashallah.
Mufti Abdul Rahman, mashallah.
But the one who gets angry very less, generally gets angry very less, but he keeps it for a little while, but he forgives, is Shaykh Abdul Aziz, mashallah. He doesn't get angry too much, but when he does get angry, he's really angry.
Don't get him angry, man. I'm scared of him angry.
I haven't even seen him happy. I don't really know what I ate. He's one of those brothers you gotta pay to make him smile, But like, no, Mufti Abdul Rahman, mashallah, after seeing your face, you're very, the way you contain your anger, you're composed. MashaAllah, your older brother trained you well.
But there's no doubt in that, mashallah.
So keep going.
But yeah, مَا غَضِبُهُمْ يَغْفِرُونَ. So they forgive right away, which means that though they had the ability and they had the right to say something because they were right, or else why were they the ones forgiving, right? So they were in the right to respond by saying something, but they still forgave. A lot of times we say, well, my anger is justified because I'm right, and we find ourselves saying that as well. But that's not true, because a believer over here, Sahabas, were those who had the ability and the right to be angry, but they will still forgive. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that these are people, because of their softness and their, staying away from sins leads towards a person being able to forgive fast. And a person that's able to forgive fast is able to respond to Allah's call immediately, because they have a soft heart. وَالَّذِينَ اسْتَجَابُوا لِرَبِّهِمْ. And
how hard is it to do ibadah when you're mad at somebody? How hard is it to focus? That's a beautiful point, Mufti Wahab. Like, that's a good connection there. Like, people who stay away from sins, like people who are always apologizing for their sins are quick to accept the apology of others, right? And then you have the next component. Now that they're always quick to, because the Prophet ﷺ said, he says, a person, مَنِ اعْتَذَرَ إِلَىٰ أَخِيهِ فَلَمْ يَقْبِلْ عُذْرَهُ لَمْ يَرِدْ عَلَى الْحَوْضِ. He said, a person who apologizes to you and you don't accept his apology, don't even try to show your face to me in the day of judgment. So the guy did his job apologizing to you. So now just accept his apology. So you accept Allah, you answer the person's request, which is forgiving him. So what does Allah bless you with? The quality of answering his prayer, his call when he calls.
You're able to always
beautiful connection there.
Abuji was telling us he was saying that a believer, when we're meeting him today, he said a believer, their greatest sign of their iman is that their quickness and their ability of responding to Allah's call. Not responding to Allah's call and doing, but rather responding to Allah's call and leaving, which is really profound. And the whole idea of the Sahabas were people who were quick in responding to Allah's call and leaving things, in a sense of, we're allowed to have money, but when the time comes to leave your job for Allah, إِذَا نُودِيَ لِلصَّلَاةِ مِنْ يَوْمِ الْجُمْعَةِ فَاسْعَوْا, you leave it right away. There's not a sense of delay in leaving that which you are allowed to have. وَالَّذِينَ اسْتَجَابُوا لِرَبِّهِمْ. They're always ready to respond to Allah's call, because they're just waiting for the next call. And they're just waiting for the next one to
You
come.
mentioned something over there about that salah, like it made me think about the tafsir of الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Wallah, Mufti Wahab, you gotta come here more often, because you make me think. Mufti Mabajan makes me laugh. Right?
Mufti Wahab, mashallah.
You guys make me think hard, man.
No. Mabajan makes me laugh, and he makes me lose my train of thoughts. You actually make me think. All right, so check this out.
Both of you guys, I honestly, I think Mufti Wahab should be on more often, honestly.
Well, Jen, if you get off, we won't get any views.
Where did you go?
I'm leaving. You hurt my feelings.
No,
Why?
He's saying from himself that he should be on less.
Both of you guys should be on more often.
I'm back.
But Vijay, if you're off, then we won't get any views, man. The people are coming on because you're on.
Let me finish my train of thoughts over this one. See, Mufti Babajan comes and misses my train of thought. So you mentioned something about they're quick. Abuji mentioned they're quick to the quality of a believer is they're quick to respond to the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So under this tafsir of alladhina hum an salatihim sahun, these are people who they are sahun, they're forgetful, they make mistakes when it comes to their salah. What does that even mean? Does it mean you make mistakes in Taraweeh? No. Does that mean you make mistakes? You're supposed to pray 2, you pray 3? That doesn't mean that. Ulama say it means الذي إن صلاها في أول الوقت لم يفرح وإن أخرها عن الوقت لم يحزن فلا يرى تعجيلها برا ولا تأخيرها إثما. Right? So a person who, when he prays early, right, it doesn't make them happy. Like if they pray right away, it doesn't give them any excitement that I did something good, right? And if they pray late, like right before time finishes, it doesn't give them any, it doesn't make them hurt, like I did something so wrong, right? And so the fact that you don't think praying right away is such a good act, nor do you think delaying it till the last minute is a sin, this is sahun. This is Allah saying, may woe be to people who pray like this. You're not answering the call of Allah the way it should be. Allah's call should not be answered when He calls you 5 times, 10 times, 50. You keep letting it ring, letting it ring. The first time, the first ring you get, boom, you pick up the call. The first fi awwali waqtiha. The moment salah comes, and isn't it amazing that after istijabu li rabbihim in this verse, the first thing that comes to check how much istijaba do you have? How quickly do you answer the call of Allah? What act do you think Allah mentions next? Because that's your measure to see how do you respond to Allah's call. What is the act, Mufti Wahab, that He mentions next? وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ.
There has to be a litmus test.
There has to be a litmus test. And I gotta say this, Mufti Wahab. There's a poem.
What's up? Before we the litmus test, but the last part, وَأَمْرُهُ الشُّورَى بَيْنَهُم وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُم يُنْفِقُونَ. When you talk about that, وَأَمْرُهُ الشُّورَى, give me a moment. I have to say something.
Okay, khalas. Okay, Jazakallah khair. So Iqbal, he says something very interesting about this. He says, Rahmatullah alayhi, he says about Allah, Allah's greatness, Allah's treasures, Allah's strength, nothing can change. Allah's always been there. He's always the one who's helping. There's no one that can help like Him. He's always the one that's removing pains and harms. He's the one, Allah huwa Nasr, right? And so Allah never moved, we moved. Allah never changed, we changed. So in the words of Allah in Jawab Shikwa, Allah is saying to the Ummah, Hum to ma'il bakaram hai, koi sa'il hi nahi. Dikhlaye kise, rahroe manzil hi nahi. तरबियत आम तो है जोहर काबिल ही नहीं जिससे तामीर हो आदम की ये वो गिल ही नहीं कोई काबिल हो तो हम शान कह देते हैं ढूंढने वाले को दुनिया भी नहीं देते हैं. Man, I can't even translate this poem. It's like Hum tuma'il bakaram. Allah is saying we were always there with all of our generosity, but the fact is koi sa'il hi nahi. There's no one actually responding to my call and asking, because asking and responding, they go together in وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. Allah talks about dua and answering Allah's call together. There's no one responding to my call. Who should I guide to the right path? Who should I guide? There's no one on that path. The manzil is there, but there's no one there. He said, yes, tarbiyat aam to hai. People have knowledge, information, all these different resources, but johar qabil hi nahi. But you're not fit, you're not worthy of receiving this beautiful message, because you never, before you can put good furniture in the house, you gotta clean the house. Gotta clean it out before you can bring something new. You haven't cleaned yourself to make yourself purified, and to make yourself, to make yourself worthy of receiving my message, my bashara, my nasiha. You're not worthy of it. So this is, he says, but the one who does that, we're gonna give him many things. The one who responds and searches, Allah is saying, we will give them a new life. No problem. That's nothing for us. Don't you see what happened to the Sahaba when they respond to the call of Allah? What did we do for them? वो नीम उनके ठोकरों से ज़हरा वो दरिया सिमट कर पहाड़ उनके हेबत से राई. He says, who cleave rivers and woods in twain, whose terror turns mountains into dust. Like mountains, rivers, oceans. There were none of these elements meant nothing for them, because they responded to the call of Allah. So everything in this world responded to them. So that's what Allah is saying in these verses. Let's respond to the call of Allah in these last 10 nights. Let's respond to Allah. Don't ever, next time it's the time for salah, next time it's the time to do something good, don't delay it. Do you want Allah's help to be delayed in your life? Do you want risk to be delayed for you? How do you feel when your check gets late? 1 day, 2 days, 1 week. How do you feel? If we felt that before, Mufti Abdul said, so that's why this message of istijaba is so powerful. Let's take it and do something with it, and make sure we become people who answer the calls of Allah more frequently and often. And of course, we're going to make mistakes, but at least pick up the phone. Sometimes you pick up your phone, you can't do anything, but at least pick up. At least do it. Maybe Allah will accept your effort. That's all we can ask for.
That was beautiful, man.
That was beautiful. That Ikhwan poem was beautiful. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us people
that
put
your God come together in Urdu and English translation. Just idea.
We'll do
the part where Iqbal says that mountains become zara, like they become small. That sometimes you do big projects, you think that you can never reach the end of it, and Allah makes them so small in front of you. And that's where I wanted to conclude by وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُم. When you work together, big things become easy. When you consult with people. But if you do it individually, small things become almost impossible to achieve. So even in your home, consult with your wife, your children, your husband. Everybody should. Nowadays, we live in this world, nobody asks anyone anything. They don't ask their parents, they don't ask their wife, they don't ask their husband. It's my life, it's their life, it's their business, my business. Nobody should interfere in my life. It's not like that because we're not individualistic people. We're a group, we're a community. And even think we want to start a big community project, involve the people who are part of it. Include the people. وَشَاوِرْهُمْ بِالْأَمْرِ. The Prophet ﷺ, who did not need to take anyone's counsel, included his Sahaba in his counsel. Ask your teachers, ask your students, ask your peers. مَا نَدِمَ مَنْ اسْتَشَارَ. If you take counsel from people at the right time, you won't regret it. You want to marry someone, you want to go to a career, you want to move somewhere. Ask opinions from the experts. Just being your own mind, your own individual mind, your own self-awareness, your own thought. It's healthy to have your own opinion, but it's healthier to seek righteous people's opinion. And always seek opinion from the expert and someone who has akhirah in front of them. Umar ibn Khattab used to say, always ask, shawr man ittaqillah. Ask amongst those who fear Allah. Like you want to get from the right angle. Like if someone's giving you from this angle of medicine, someone's giving you an angle of business, someone's giving you an angle of education, someone's giving you an angle of the city, someone's giving you an angle of the climate. How about the angle of akhirah too? So get all of that. Take وَشَاوِرْهُمْ بِالْأَمْرِ. وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُم. People, pious people, they're always asking, inquiring, seeking for the best option because our decisions, as selfish as we think, it doesn't impact, it impacts everyone. It impacts our wives, it impacts our children, and these children impact communities, and this has a ripple effect to the shores of the Atlantic and the Pacific, brother.
Allahu Akbar. Why'd you have to end off like that? It was powerful. You have to go Atlantic and Pacific.
You guys get too religious on me, man.
Listen, no, it's beautiful. But no, these ayat were actually, like some of us you mentioned, were revealed about the Ansar.
Yeah,
So in many ways, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is appreciating them. And he's saying to Prophet ﷺ, these are people who have done all of this. They've opened their doors for you. They've responded to your call. And now your way of validating them and appreciating them is shura bainahum. Include them in your decisions that you make forward. A lot of times when we meet people, we want to, why don't you respond to my call? Why aren't you around? And in the moment our task is fulfilled, we don't seek any type of advice from them. We don't seek any type of input from them because whatever we needed is completed, right? This is the nature of a human being. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Prophet Amrum shura bainhum, that now since they gave you and they did their part and they responded to me, you should include them in your decision-making process. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most, it appreciates people more than anyone else. وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ الْقَوَاعِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ وَإِسْمَاعِيلُ. The kid was 7 years old, but Allah still mentions his name. It was Ibrahim who built the Kaaba, but Ismail was still there. In the break between the nahwa of it shows that Ibrahim was the lead architect. But Allah also mentions Ismail. And taking shura, right, doesn't just mean that the person is bigger or better or more superior to you. It's also a way of increasing love. And sometimes you take their opinion just for the sake of keeping everyone together. Where the Prophet even took opinions of people that went against his. And the sign of that was Uhud. So وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ, Allah saying to the Prophet, this is your way of responding to them and appreciating them. So if we want to appreciate people in our lives, in our family members, our friends, even our students, like I've seen our teachers, and we try to do that now as well as much as we can, that we seek sometimes shura from our students, which is sometimes hard to do, but it's extremely beneficial because sometimes they have good opinions, like they'll come out with certain things. Like I went to Toronto in the same day we came back. I was with Mohsin, and in the car I realized this guy has at least half a brain. Like he has good opinions on things, and you can only find out when you ask them for their opinion about something. Like, what should we do? What should we not do? And hopefully that increases their love, and they'll do the same, for their students.
That's true, Mufti Waheed. That's a good point. And like the Prophet said, like the worst person on the planet Earth is aladul khasam, a person who's very stubborn and a person who loves to argue a lot. So a person who is stubborn doesn't like taking opinions from people, and he loves to argue, because if you give him an opinion, he will argue with you. So that means the most beloved people to Allah are the ones who are not stubborn on their own ways. Like khalas, you should have an opinion about something. You should like no like I have no idea about something. But when you take opinion, when you have your opinion, and then you have someone you trust, you love. Honestly, Mufti Wahab, I don't blame people nowadays.
It's hard to find people.
It's hard to find people you can trust, because us people in our positions have broken the trust of people many times. Many times. I don't blame people, honestly. So
if you find them, what should you do? If a person finds them, like what?
Yo, give me some gifts. Stick together. You don't, keep looking, because alhamdulillah, once you find people like that, I'm just gonna say this, like last thing I was gonna say to you, like I'm thinking about itikaf right now, right? The people that we love so much when we were young, growing up, like Mufti Asim. Okay, he's with us. Then we're here in our masjid Uthman. We've been here for so long doing the itikaf, and then so it's like 3 generations. Like he's with you, he's your teacher. Then your students are with you, who you taught for 7-8 years, like
who graduated.
Mana Arib, Mana Hanzala, Ma Rafi, like these scholars, right?
Sheikh Hassan.
I mentioned Sheikh Hassan. So like you have these guys so now you're sitting together, and then you have Mufti Abdul Wahab Bajan, and and Muhammad Aziz coming too. And that group, wallahi, like just thinking about that is like Allah has given us a piece of Jannah in this world. It's like we should be so grateful, and Allah has so take care of each other, tolerate each other, because this is the biggest blessing in the world, that you have all these people that love you around you. And you're like friends, ashab, not tullab. The Sahaba's names, the Sahaba were the best students of the Prophet ﷺ, but they're ashabu Rasulullah. They were the friends and companions of the Prophet ﷺ. So we're like ashab of Mufti, with Mufti Asim. Our students are our ashab, and we're all together. And it's like we're sitting down in
beautiful. And for the brothers especially that are watching, even from England, the last 10 nights of Ramadan is i'tikaf at in our masjid nearby, Masjid Uthman. I encourage you all to think about it for next year. The same way we encourage people to come for Sirah intensive and knowledge retreat, they're very beneficial, but i'tikaf is extremely beneficial in its own way, and it's very spiritual, educational as well. You all need to come down, inshallah. Inshallah, very soon.
Take care, inshallah. But Mufti Wahab, thank you for coming.
I'm just to share this, Bajan, come on and share something at least. For everyone, our MTM conference is right around the corner. So inshallah, in a few weeks, we have Shaykh Yasir Qadi coming, we have Shaykh Yasir Barjaz, Shaykh Yasir Fahmi, Shaykh Abdul Nasir. We have so many speakers. Hopefully everyone has a slot to speak in. But really, I'm encouraging everyone to buy their tickets now. And if you're from out of town, right now is the best time to at least start planning the trip. It's a 2-day event, so it's Friday.
I have an idea. Can we get a promo code for the Miftah? Like you can say Lamhat audience. Like call it Lamhat. Like make the promo code literally Lamhat.
We can make one, or we can make it moments.
Okay, make it moments like this.
Who else knows how to spell Lamhat?
Moments.
We can make. Consider this done. Moments will be 10%. 10% off is enough, right, Bijan?
Give him more, man. Give him more.
Okay, we'll do 25% or 20%. Okay, for moments.
Man. Hook them up. Give them free.
Man, it's only a $15 ticket.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
But what we ask for you is that you spread the word. Like if you go on our page and you find the flyer and the link, everyone should take the second and share it right now. Share it with everyone. Share it with your family, your friends. It sells out normally a week before, so I'm not really worried about it selling out or not. But I want to make sure that everyone knows about it. And the number 2, we have mashallah, inshallah, very soon coming up our next trip, which will be to Aqsa. And for those that have been asking, when's our Aqsa trip? This will be our Aqsa trip. So inshallah, I want to encourage everyone to look into this as well. Regardless of where you're from in the world, you can join us, inshallah ta'ala. So please, moments will be live. It'll be 25%. You can use it, inshallah.
Do it now. Do it now after you finish.
I'm going to do it right now, inshallah, but I hope it's being used. Tomorrow I'm going to come back, see if it's being used. Please try to use it.
Okay, if they don't use it, no. We'll have some over here free for us. We'll do some free things when you come. Just come though. We'll
do other free things. You have a one-on-one session with Mufti Abdul Rahman and Shaykh Abdullah. That's worth a lot of money. We'll give that for free.
Inshallah, Mufti Abdul, jazakallah khair for bringing it up. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.